Brother Black Spider here. I don't know what I'm going to call this, but first let me start off by saying rest in peace to George Foreman. This man inspired me in so many ways, and not when he came back to win the championship when he was like in his 40s. I never even stepped in the ring, but I still felt like, if George can do it, I can do it. As crazy as that sounds. Not to mention his grill helped keep me alive. And from what I remember off the top of my head, he was a pastor, businessman, voice actor. Yeah, he did. I remember he did that spot for The King of the Hill, an author, commentator. Yeah, he did great work for HBO. You had to be there. But of course, he was a world heavyweight champion. And I would like to see a movie. Well, you know what? There was a movie done about him. I just, what? No, no, no. Well, you know what? A movie about Joe Frazier hasn't been made neither. So I would like to see a movie from Joe Frazier done about Joe Frazier and George Foreman in the same level as Muhammad Ali. Yeah, that would be great. Keyword done right. And Mr. Foreman once said that he wanted to be known as one of the best to ever step in the boxing ring. Well, he was. His passing marks the end of an era in boxing. He becomes an ancestor as part of the big three. Rest well, Mr. Foreman. And I want to say, I got to say, rest in peace to Morris Man Smith. I made a post about him on here. I learned a lot about music. He's a very well accomplished artist, very, very proficient in music. His expertise will be missed. Rest well, Mr. Smith. Rest well. Oh, and to Styles, also known as Nut War TV. I made a post involving him, of a video involving him. It's the LA, it's the Styles Calls LA show. And he was, if you know of Tommy Sotomayor, when he was in the spotlight, Styles was one of his well-known rivals. Now, aside from that, Styles made some good music. I also enjoyed hearing his opinions on random things. Now, I grew to dislike doing the RIP post, like on Tumblr and on YouTube, this channel as well. And the last one I did was of John Witherspoon. And it just felt like I was doing them back to back. I'm not going to say it felt like it was too much, but it felt like I was doing them too much. So I fell back on that. And during that time, some notable people passed on, not just in the boxing world, like Marvin Hagler and Roger Mayweather. Those two were very underrated to me. If you know, you know. All the way to the movie world, and uh, uh, recently, James Earl Jones. I was a big fan of his movies. Really, anything he did. Look at that. I mean, he was Darth Vader after all. But let's head on over to Dallas. And what is, in my opinion, the worst trade ever in the whole league, history. There is no similar case. You had a high level talent coming to a team, turning it around, becoming a high level value player, and clearly wanting to stay, wanting to retire as a member of this team, and finally getting to the finals, only to be traded abruptly for another high level player, but that player doesn't have the same effect on the court as this player did, and on his way out being called fat. And I took it personally. It's franchise breaking, because the next superstar is going to think twice about coming over to this team and building there. I'm talking about the Dallas Mavericks, okay? I'm talking about Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, okay? Just in case you want to know what I'm talking about, okay? So any other superstar is not going to be sitting there and going, well, I might want to stay here for the long haul. No, they're just going to get their money and leave. They're going to get that big contract and just add to be traded and leave. Because look what you did to Luka. And I've read all the theories, well, almost all the theories on this situation. But the one that makes sense to me the most is the owners gave free reign to the GM, Nico, because they're not really big on basketball. And Rob, from the Lakers side, is a good friend of Nico. And he basically convinced him that trading Luka for AD and nothing else was a good idea. I blame Mark Cuban. No theory behind that. I just blame Mark Cuban. As of this video, Luka has already faced the Mavericks. And the man, if you watch that game, the video they had for him, that man was in shambles. Luka would have stayed. He would have retired a Maverick. He would have done whatever he had to do to stay there and become a Maverick. He would have retired like dirt. Happily. Now, I'm not cursing out Nico. No, I'm not cursing out Nico at all. At the same time, I fully understand fully if people wanted to, though. Nico wanted to make a major move that benefited the team in his first time in holding the reins, in the master seat, the driver wheel, whatever cliche you want to use. He wanted to make an impact that benefited this team in the future. And he did, because I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work at all. I don't think it's going to pay off for none of this. And don't get me wrong, I like AD, but he does not have the same effect as Luka did on the court. It was a lopsided trade to me, and as I said, it's one of the worst trades in league history, the entire league. And here's the thing, and I say this not as a Dallas Maverick fan. I'm not a Dallas Maverick fan. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I will say this. I strongly believe that if Luka stayed on this team with what they had, they could have won they could win the finals this year. I'm just saying. Now, regardless of what is happening now, and no, this team is not cursed. This team is not cursed from that. Now, of course, the injury bug has bit the Mavericks, but definitely not cursed because they traded Luka. Definitely not. And that's all I gotta say. This is Brother Black Spider. Thank you for listening to me ramble a bit here. And I'm out. Peace.